What's good, y'all? It's POD Canyon, and I'm back with another reaction video. Today, we have a Veridian, and this is Mushoku Tensei. Finally changed my mind. Now, the reason I'm doing this one is because I binged this anime, and I can definitely tell there just had to be controversies in this anime, but like, if y'all like watch my GTO review, y'all know what type of timing I'm on. I absolutely love anime. I grew up with it. But the more like I mature with it, all this like extra horny stuff, it kind of be throwing me off. But I still like try my best not to let it get in the way of good stories. Now, with this one, this is one where it's like I thought this was just going to be like not even I thought, cuz technically it is just a regular isekai anime. I'll do the quick rundown. Um I feel like he'll do a good rundown because I don't know, because this is my first time watching this video. I don't know what specifically he's going to talk about, what changed his mind. But if I do have a good guess, it's his view of the main character. Because essentially, isekais are animes where pretty much you're in one world for like a couple of episodes, maybe even the first couple of seconds of the first episode, and the main character either dies or gets transported to another world, or they die and get reincarnated into another world. Um, and this is just one of those animes. So this one, the main character dies getting like hit by a truck, and then he reincarnates into another world, but as a baby. And he still has the mind of like a 30-year-old, and he's like re going through life in a completely different world. Which, just like in that aspect, like just that idea is kind of interesting. But there are some weird things. So, before I get too much into it, I'm gonna watch the video and then probably talk about my piece later because I just recently binge this, so I do kind of want to talk about it. So this is a reason to talk about it. So with that being said, if y'all like the video, like, subscribe if you're new, because all we do is chill over here. With that being said, let's get into this video.
Is one of the best-selling light novels of all time, widely
Best selling.
regarded as one of the
Sheesh.
greatest isekai series, if not the greatest. Its global popularity exploded after season 1
Greatest
aired, helmed by
isekai.
Studio Bind, which was literally created for the
Mm,
purpose of adapting Mushoku Tensei, and you can see the love and care in the final product.
I didn't. That's yeah, because this thing was animated so good, so good, y'all. I cannot lie. I did not know it was that
Mushoku Tensei
popular,
is a very
y'all.
meticulously
Dang.
written show, usually going the extra mile when it comes to making the world the viewers travel through feel truly alive, with a bunch of
Yeah.
different races, cultures, languages, and magic. To put it
Mm,
simply, Mushoku Tensei is a masterclass in world building. Within this world are plenty of incredibly written characters who all feel human, with their own strengths and flaws,
nice.
rather than just being vessels for the main character to use in order to become the ultimate figure of power or authority in the world they've been transported to, as we've seen in so many isekai. Despite having so many bright spots when it comes to its anime adaptation and story, Mushoku Tensei always manages to find itself entrenched in controversy. Every single
Oh
season,
yeah,
there's some new
cause,
triggering event that happens in Mushoku
literally,
Tensei that
what's
makes the
up with
vast
Rudy?
public question what's going on inside of the author's head, and if the show is just some degenerate power.
Man, I know the author freaky as hell. I'm not gonna lie. Like, let's be honest. I don't know if it's as true or as common now as it used to be, but art still does reflect reality. So when I be like looking at some of the weird stuff like some of these characters do, I reflected in the author, and I think I envision the author sometimes like this. And the fact that the literally the person who got isekai, like the main character, this is almost literally like the vibe he was giving or how he looked before he got transported into another world. So just imagine a weird thing like this in like a 10 or something year old body. Um, it could go crazy. And they ain't take it too far, but it was a lot of instances where it was like, yo, You can't watch this shit with normal
fantasy
people,
that only
Like,
weirdos
that's
enjoy.
just crazy.
Whenever I try to describe Mushoku Tensei to others, I start with all the amazing aspects of the show, and 90% of the time, all it takes is me saying the animation is super fire and the fights are incredible for my friends
That's
to pick an
usually
anime
all it
up.
takes.
However, when it comes to Mushoku Tensei, I always gotta end the good with a but. Mushoku Tensei
But,
is incredibly
yeah.
well written with great characters, but the main character is a complete degenerate freak in the beginning who's honestly very uncomfortable to watch. Whenever my friends go on to watch a few episodes,
because oh my gosh, that scene, I literally yelled "ill" out loud because I'm not. Nope, not gonna describe that scene. You just gotta watch
Mushoku
it.
Tensei, the first
It's
question they
not
ask
even
me
that bad, but it's nasty. It's fucking nasty. Oh my gosh.
does Rudy get better? Or they stare at me like a complete weirdo for recommending the show because of Rudy's antics, before banishing
Yeah.
the image of me to the criminal's graveyard of regrettable acquaintances. I know a lot of you are already up in
Never recommending
arms,
this show to
clacking away in
nobody.
the comments about how Rudy being very uncomfortable to watch is completely intentional, and I agree. In fact, I love the way Mushoku Tensei depicts people as being extremely flawed in their own ways, but learning to overcome those flaws. But this doesn't erase the fact that Rudy is still
I
a
do
shut-in
agree.
gooner at the beginning of Mushoku
Yes,
Tensei.
literally,
And a
that's
lot
him.
of people don't want to
That's
sit
him,
through
y'all.
seasons of this pathetic bum who has a PhD in meat slapping over pixels,
Oh,
navigating
man, we
the world in
didn't
his own
want to
perverted
see
way.
this.
You gotta get through the bad to get to the good. It's literally the definition of character development.
Yeah.
However, as more seasons of Mushoku Tensei came out, I still found myself clinging on to that but, as even through season 2 part 1, Rudy was still quite pathetic to watch, and his perverted actions left me scratching my head a lot. I know,
Yeah.
character development,
Yeah.
but seeing a grown-ass man praying to a
Bro,
unknowing,
yeah.
faraway master made
I
me feel
was-
some kind of way. I knew I liked Mushoku Tensei. After all, I spent an entire season watching a dude getting his schmeat to work again, and even cheered when he busted his first one in forever. But could I say I
was like, there's no way we spent 10. I was like, this is really the plot. When I was watching the second season, like, we started off okay. You know what I'm saying? You thought you were gonna just train this girl to meet up with your love interest or whatever, and then y'all get transported to the other side of the world, and y'all gotta travel back, which is the demon continent, by the way, which is like their world building or whatever. So you gotta travel all the way back to the other side. And then like they end the season where like they practically make it back, but you realize that nothing is gonna be the same after that, which is kind of crazy how shit just changes on its end, kind of like life does. Just changes out of nowhere despite the plans you had originally. But yeah, it was the next season, and I don't know if I no, because I'm not recommending this to nobody. You either seen it or you didn't. So the pretty much the person who he's like training, since they travel half the world together, they might have some chemistry. They connect, and then she leaves him in the morning. And ever since then, his thing don't work, which I have no problem with because he can finally stop being fucking horny. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, we could actually focus more on plot. Like, it was so much more plot going on, but the fact that part of the plot was him trying to get that, like, I was like, there's no way. 10 episodes, I counted. I was like, no way. It took until episode 10.
love
I
Mushoku
was like,
Tensei. If the main
bro.
character left me feeling so conflicted, I'm very pleased to
Very
say that with Mushoku
conflicted.
Tensei Season 2 Part 2, I finally crossed that line. I've seen the light after seeing how Rudy carries himself
See the
throughout the
light.
season and watching him genuinely regret his past
See the
actions
light.
and tackle issues in a mature manner. This is the peak character development that light novel fans were going on about, and is done in such a masterful way that I ended up appreciating earlier Mushoku Tensei and Rudy way more because of it. As I mentioned before, Season 2 Part 1 of Mushoku Tensei followed Rudy as he traveled from the northern lands to a legendary magic university, trying to find a cure for the deadly disease that would ruin his entire bloodline. It's a disease that takes the pride of many men across universes. You guessed it, cancer.
Yep.
Nope, no, his dick just don't work. It was a
Yep.
season of panty
10
shrines,
episodes of-
aphrodisiacs, and questionable actions towards beast women. These events all culminated into Rudy finally curing his ED after sleeping with Sylphie, the elf girl from his childhood, who's been thinking about Rudy ever since they got separated. When I started the second half of Season 2 of Mushoku Tensei, I assumed I'd be in for a season of Rudy technically being with Sylphie, just to perv on everyone around him, still fantasizing about Roxy, and overall be the menace to society that he's been for all of Mushoku Tensei. But the
Facts.
Rudy I got was so different and so much better. Instead of being a raging horny freak, Rudy's actually being
Yeah, he did get.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
The timeless story you know and love.
mature.
No.
He's not creeping on everyone as much. He's actually doing grown man shit. It's so great seeing Rudy interact with a group of companions he's made at the university when he isn't obsessed with curing ED, and he immediately felt like a pretty reliable person this season. He's helping Nanahoshi out with their magic circles, Sonoba with his dolls, and is seen as the alpha of the school due to his prodigious abilities. Best of all, he's actually trying to do right by Sylphie and treat her like she deserves to be treated after saving him. He doesn't just smash and run, but actually looks for a house
Does
and is
not age
determined
well
to
at
settle
all.
down with Sylphie
You
and
thought
be in a
so,
comfortable
though.
living
That's the
situation for the
important thing.
first time in 10 years. He even goes the extra mile for Nanahoshi when she begins to lose all hope and even provides a roof for his little sisters. It really felt like Rudy turned into a very dependable mage after Sylphie fixed him, but what I enjoyed most about Rudy this season is his ability to understand others and how this understanding allows him to properly reflect on his previous life and realize that the whole world wasn't against him back then. His development of Rudy was shown masterfully when his full-blood related sister, Norn, arrived and was immediately distrustful of Rudy since the last time she saw him, he was whooping her beloved father's ass. Obviously, I can't blame either side in this kind of situation, but I was really curious to see how Rudy would handle her distrust and depression, and if he'd blame her for it instead of trying to understand her. What Rudy did next is what truly moved me and made me genuinely love him as a main character. Part of me expected Rudy to dismiss Norn's regression as something she deserved since she hated him, the person literally providing a roof over her head and helping her get into one of the most famous magic schools in the world. Instead, Rudy finds out Norn has become a shut-in and immediately assumes it's because of bullying, the same bullying that led his old self into becoming a NEET. I really love how Mushoku Tensei handled this situation, as it wasn't a simple black and white situation where the prodigious MC's sister is getting bullied and he steps in to save her. Norn wasn't getting intentionally bullied by others, but was frustrated at being compared to her genius brother, the brother that she hated, the brother she didn't want to be associated with. The sense of urgency Rudy had to get to the root of Norn's problems was conveyed really well, and when Rudy finally confronted Norn in a room, I was hit with a freight train of emotions. I got chills down my spine seeing Rudy remember his past life and how his brother tried to reach out to him to convince him to come out and that life is worth living with others, and how that situation perfectly mirrored the one Rudy's facing currently, except he's in the shoes of his older brother. Rudy never understood how his family felt trying to repeatedly help him and how much it hurt them to see Rudy give up on life despite their best efforts. Instead of telling Norn she's being a child for refusing to step out because she's tired of being compared to her elder brother, Rudy reaches out to Norn and tells her he's sorry for not letting her be her own person. The truly powerful moment was when Rudy admits he doesn't know how to help Norn, yet his heart is breaking for her even though he didn't directly do anything negative to affect her. Not only was Norn able to get out of this slump, she was able to do something that the old Rudy couldn't. Although Rudy's older brother probably felt immense heartbreak after realizing Rudy's unreachable, his words ended up affecting someone else in a very positive way in Norn, and hearing Rudy thank his older brother for reaching out to him seriously hit. This ended up
That's it too, because yeah, this definitely made me think of my sister when I be trying to like give advice and it don't go nowhere. So
giving Norn the strength to come out of her shell, and by the end of the season, she's able to bravely confront Rudy and call him out for being for the streets while his pregnant wife was constantly worrying about him every single day. This episode showed a level of maturity, understanding, and compassion from Rudy that left me in awe and made me really appreciate him a lot more. And this maturity was further elevated when Rudy left his cushy life with Sophie to travel to a dangerous labyrinth to help his father and rescue his mother. It was really cool seeing Paul and Rudy meet again, and Rudy seeming like the much bigger man in this situation due to Paul's desperation for getting his wife back, even if he was clapping maid cheeks after sending birth to his child. The degree of Paul's desperation and irrational behavior were amplified by how calm and collected Rudy was when it came to navigating the dungeon, and the conversations Rudy had with Paul genuinely felt human. I loved how Paul is well aware of his flaws and kept apologizing to Rudy about it, and also how Rudy responded to Paul's screaming directed at him for not being as desperate as he is in such a calm manner. Instead of dismissing Paul's desperation, he assures him he'll act with the same amount of urgency as well. At the end of it all, Rudy's faced with grief and frustration because of what happened in the labyrinth. Instead of running away to jack off in the middle of Arlington, Texas, he's tackling his grief and responsibilities head on after realizing that he's the main man of his family now. I'm really liking this version of Rudy, and even though the seemingly cushy life he was going to have with Sylphie kinda crumbled, he hasn't completely despaired, and I have hope that he'll grow even stronger both physically and mentally to climb these hurdles. He doesn't blame the others for not saving Paul, and they make sure to tell Rudy that he did his best and that Paul's death isn't solely his fault. His introspection when visiting Paul's grave and realizing that he has many more blunders to come that will slowly change him was great. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Rudy conveys these lessons to his own child. The only thing that rubbed me the wrong way is how Rudy did Sylphie dirty when it comes to Roxy. Then again, he is Paul's son. Roxy, I've got my eye on you. Certified Master Mage, certified group.
yeah, because the reason he put that up there is because that's literally okay. So this is the main character's second wife. This is practically gonna be a harem. And this is the same person who like pretty much taught him magic growing up as a child. Um So it's like technically they tried to be like, oh, I didn't even recognize you from the young person I grew up and taught, but it's like it's not as wholesome as this one because she like she actually like grew up with them and they having a child and he's like, can this be the second wife? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure it's not over. I'm pretty sure the red hair girl's gonna become the third one, and then it will be the harem anime. But yeah, yeah, I just felt like talking about that for a little bit. Crazy work, absolutely crazy work. It's one of those shows where like, there's part of me that kind of like likes like the absurdity of certain things, but also like there are certain aspects in this thing where you can just reflect with reality to a certain degree. But yeah, uh y'all give me some anime recommendations, some good ones. I might, cause after this I'm gonna be watching, what is it called? Fuck. Mocha fuck. What is this shit called? Makuta Magica? Madoka Magica? Something like that. I heard it's really good and I didn't get spoiled on it. I'm I'm skeptical about it though because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a twist. I'm only on episode 2. I'm gonna probably binge it tonight. But yeah, I don't trust, if y'all have seen Madoka Magica, I don't trust the blonde haired girl at all. I feel like she gonna be, I don't really trust the cat either if I'm keeping it a band because mm, mm, let me cook real quick. Let me cook real quick because only if you know what I'm saying, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure you already clicked off the video. But let me cook. I feel like, and I'm probably completely wrong because I haven't seen this, but I feel like the cat probably showed the dream to be like motivation for the girl. Mm, I don't know. I don't know. It's not making sense right now. It's not making sense right now. I'm only on episode 2. So I'll come back to y'all with that. I might do a video on that. If it does blow my mind like it says it will. It looks trippy though, so that'll keep me viewing for a little bit. But yeah, if y'all like the video, like, subscribe. You know all we do is chill over here. With that being said, y'all be great. Y'all be safe. Keep getting to that bag, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video. Peace.